Welcome to Diane's Kitchen. Once again, we're sitting in the kitchen having a chat. Today's guest is City Administrator of Shell Lake, Andy Eiche. And you notice he brought his own coffee cup. Evidently, he doesn't care for ours, but
A gift for my daughter.
oh, well, definitely bring your own coffee cup. We have got a lot of questions for Andy this morning. Shell Lake looked last week like a bomb hit it. This week, it is looking like the prairie. Everything is flat. A lot of the stuff is gone, the cement. Huge project.
A number of huge projects, actually. You're referring, I assume, to the county project and the hospital project, IMC.
Yes.
Very significant project for Shell Lake for a number of factors. When you look at the capital that's being invested, you have the county putting up a 2-story health and human service building, which is allowing them to consolidate their 5 different sites into one location, which will make them much more efficient and much more user-friendly to the end user.
Okay. This is to bring all of the county offices into one area. What all is coming in?
Well, any office that's related to health and human service activity. We already had 2 of the offices in Shell Lake, but you also have the ADRC and the vets coming to the show as well. And they did leave a little bit of room for future expansion. And they're also going to be, as you mentioned, literally wiping out the entire block. In order for this project to be achievable, we literally had to vacate the 1 block of First Street and the 1 block of 4th Avenue. To give it perspective, First Street, we're talking about the block that's right alongside the courthouse, and 4th Avenue between the previous pharmacy, which is now completely down, and the hospital itself,
now
making kind of a campus atmosphere, if you will.
Oh, tough.
Nice.
Yes. The Ed Elliott building still stands. Will that be coming down or will that be staying?
Yes, that'll all be coming down. Everything on the block will be coming down in entirety. If you look at the county's project timeline, they won't complete until the end of the building season in 2020. However, the hospital will be planning to complete by November of this year. The hospital is putting up a brand new 9,000 square foot clinic along with a pharmacy inside, as well as we'll now have an official helicopter pad where we no longer have to seek out car owners on a parking lot and quick get those out of the way before the helicopter can land.
I guess I didn't realize that there isn't a helicopter landing pad in Shell Lake.
It's a parking lot. It's actually a parking lot.
Oh, I always thought it was the airport. You know, not living in town, they fly right over our house and go to Shell Lake. And I thought, well, it must be at the airport. You know, load them up in an ambulance, take them to the airport.
Well,
I was wrong.
No, they used to land right on the parking lot alongside the old senior center. And that's another part the county's working on right now, is building the new senior center along with the maintenance garage across 2nd Street. But the Ed Elliott building will be the last thing to go because obviously they need those facilities until the new facility's ready to be moved into.
I cannot believe that the hospital will be done by November. At least that's the target date.
They have a fairly aggressive schedule.
Now, is that just the building or is that...
No, mind you, the work has been in progress for some time.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the construction work becomes the easy part. I'm sure no one will agree with that when they're driving around town. Just coming here.
Trying to find a
just
parking
coming
place.
Here to this interview this morning, I had to drive by 6 dump trucks just to get going on 63.
Yeah.
So there is definitely a lot of construction taking place, but at the end of the day, we'll have better hospital services for our community. And it certainly doesn't hurt that with the consolidation of health and human services, that means 57 jobs for the city of Shell Lake, which is very important, not only to our community, but to the business owners specifically, because, I mean, one of the aspects of living in northwestern Wisconsin is that businesses, I like to say just about any business can survive from June through August.
Right,
The difficulty is keeping the doors open during the winter months. having that employee base that comes to
Mhm.
work every day,
Mhm.
365 days. Well, we don't work 365 days a year, but
Well, you do.
that's important to the businesses, the restaurants, the gyms.
So, with all of this improvement, with all of these county offices coming to Shell Lake, bringing their employees, bringing the people that use these services, what can you see happening in Shell Lake in 5 years, 2 years? Can you see more businesses, retail?
We certainly hope as we move in that direction that it will result in more businesses because you have more foot traffic, you have
Right.
more commerce. But again, the right kind of commerce. I don't know if everyone will agree with me on this statement, but I get the feel of the community that the last thing we want is smokestacks, if you will, manufacturing. It's just not that type of environment.
Right.
It's a more rest and relaxation type environment, which is what we're trying to achieve.
And a lot of that rest and recreation we give away. The beach, that gorgeous beach, that
The best beach
gorgeous.
north of I-29 in the state of Wisconsin.
I agree. You can walk out to your chin, look down, and still see the hair on your toes. The water is so clear.
Yeah.
Right.
And we give it all away. I mean, people can use this amazing facility for nothing.
And they do when you look at our parking lots.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
How long have you been the city administrator now?
City administrator since 2014.
2014, so 5 years. Did you see this or foresee this when you first got here of what's all happening now? Because there's a lot going on in Shell Lake in the
Oh,
last
my.
2 years.
Well, the concerns were arising at that time when you looked at the difficulties our existing hospital was experiencing. I mean, at one point or another, they were probably going to be told you can't have helicopters land here anymore because a parking lot isn't an official place to land a helicopter.
Right.
So, whenever you look at this, you say to yourself, are we in danger of losing a critical aspect of our community? Now, when you get someone like the Jacks who own IMC to input the capital they're inputting to these improvements, it gives you a long-term security that it's not going anywhere. As far as the county seat is concerned, Shell Lake is the county seat. This move to actually build this facility in Shell Lake reaffirms that in a sense. And so did I see the specifics coming? No. When I first heard of the county's desire to open or rebuild a facility for Health and Human Services, I had heard that originally their thought was going to be on some land that they owned in Spooner. Well, of course, that made me nervous because
Sure.
if
Yeah.
that
Sure.
happened, we had the exact opposite effect where
Sure.
we're losing critical jobs.
Yeah.
Because the county is I believe, our second largest employer.
Mm.
And not to disparage Spooner, but they've always hinted very broadly that everything should be brought up to Spooner. So I agree with you. Shell Lake, this is where it is. This is where it belongs. And within,
For the record, I've never had anyone from Spooner say that to me personally.
well, I won't.
I
won't mention
like to work
names.
towards a cooperative
Oh, I agree.
movement, if you will, between Shell Lake and Spooner. Because if you look at us, we're 6 miles apart.
I know.
And Spooner brings things to the table as it relates to tourism and industry that Shell Lake can't necessarily bring in some cases. Shell
Right.
Lake brings to the table, like you said, the best lake in the area,
Yeah.
if you will, the best beach. Combined, we're one heck of a Twin Cities in
Well, yeah, we
northwestern
are.
Wisconsin.
Sure. Yeah.
Shell Lake's got an airport,
And so it goes without saying that the wisdom would be to work together.
but it's tough to get any two small towns in the United States to work together.
Well, I'll
If
try.
you- if good. Now that you've accomplished the amazing feat of getting all of these people into, I know you don't like the name, but I call it the super block because it's going to be an incredible place. Absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
And is this
The county is the one that takes the credit on this. The county board supervisors and its employees,
Sure.
like Lolita Olson and Kiko
Yes.
Murphy, the amount of work they've done to make this happen, hats off to them. Most of the people don't get to see the people behind the scenes. And there's a ton of work before the spade even hits the dirt, so to speak.
Oh, yeah.
And
Well, how long would you say that,
incredible job.
that this program, this idea has actually been approved and, okay, let's go with it?
Well, actually, the initial discussion started in November 2017. This is going at a breakneck speed.
Yeah.
The reason why the county, and they do have the interest of the taxpayer in mind, which I appreciate, um, they're about to retire the debt on their salt shed, if you will, at the highway maintenance shop, which was a rather significant project for them.
In Spooner.
So by keeping the budget on this project within a certain amount,
Right.
they'll be able to do this project without further increasing the taxpayer
And that's
cost.
a huge plus.
And so there's also the school is getting went by there the other day, and they're really getting going on that.
That is a very significant project,
and
but that does affect the taxpayer.
well,
Yeah. Just a bit.
In fairness to them.
yeah. But there's some. I mean, these are some significant projects that are happening in Shell Lake. Do you think this is going to kickstart something else?
Well,
When these are finished, is it listen? We're not a dying town. We're a growing town.
I would say when you say does it kickstart something else, one of my largest concerns actually for Shell Lake, and I believe my neighboring municipalities share the exact same difficulty. When you have this growth and you have these employees, I went to the Shell Lake District School Board and had a presentation to talk to them about these topics, but also to talk about the referendum and its impacts to the city of Shell Lake. Oh, you create these jobs and you have employees. For example, I think the Shell Lake School District employs 103 or 107, somewhere right in their employees. And I asked their school board, I said, well, when you have a person that retires at the age of 60, 65, do you go out and find another 63-year-old person to replace them as a teacher? No, the typical method is now you're hiring someone recently out of college,
Sure.
and they're in their 20s or 30s,
Right.
and that type of individual can't afford to live on properties on a lake.
Right.
They can't afford a $400,000 mortgage. They need to live in a home that's, I guess, what you'd call affordable housing.
Starter
Not to say
housing.
low income, but they're
Sure.
they're building their
Yeah.
nest egg. They're in the
We
appreciation.
all started not in a home, right?
They're in the appreciation stages of their life, not the preservation.
Sure.
And it's a shortage we have.
Housing.
We don't have that type of housing available. I'm trying to work with the state to get them to change some of their TIF laws that allow it to be more conducive to building these. Because you look at the school district of Shell Lake, over 70% of their employees don't even live in the city limits of Shell Lake, but that's where they work. It's not because they dislike Shell Lake. There just isn't enough opportunity for available housing.
Mm.
And so when you get this kind of growth, now you have to try to make a concerted effort
To accommodate all the
to
people.
find a place for them to
Yeah,
live.
right. So where
Um,
is that? If you had a magic wand in Shell Lake, because there isn't a lot of in town anyway, in terms of just
Right.
open property or lots, you're sitting there doing nothing.
Right.
And even if you have a few homes, that's just a few homes. Are you thinking more ideally apartment building, duplexes? What are the-
Actually, those are two of the primary targets, because when you look at apartment living, again, for the 23-year-old professional starting out,
Yeah.
there's still
doesn't want a
good
house,
chance
doesn't want to
that-
mow the lawn, just
Well, but
need a
there's
place to
also a
live.
good chance when you look at the statistics that a 23-year-old isn't staying in the community forever. They're going to stay, it's their starting job, and then they're going to move somewhere else.
sure.
They might not want a mortgage, they might want to rent. So you have to look at apartments. You have to look at duplexes, because when you get to retirement age,
Right.
you don't want to live on the homestead
No.
and mow the lawn and shovel the snow and yada,
Right.
yada, blah, blah, blah. You want to live in a place where maybe you still have 2 bedrooms so the grandkids or the kids can come over and spend the
Mhm.
night and stuff like that, but you don't have to mow the lawn.
Mm.
So we need that type of housing
Now-
to accommodate those type of individuals.
Something else that Shell Lake is doing, has done, is almost ready to open. It's kind of like on the opposite side of this housing. It's the ATV.
I
What is it
forgot.
called?
The Shell Lake ATV campground.
There you go. It
Sounds nice.
is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. Who designed that?
Well, we had assistance from a number of people. Mark Heil with the Department of Forestry, who has a great deal of experience in campgrounds, assisted us early on. This
No.
project's been going on for over 10 years.
Wow, I didn't realize 10
Mhm.
years. I would have said 5, maybe 3. you can tell somebody knew what they were doing because each of these individual places to park is like a little woods all to themselves.
That really was one of my primary goals
Oh,
and several others.
beautiful.
Where this land is tucked right between Highway 63 and County B, with Lind Avenue as its south border. And our goal was we don't want anyone to know it's there. Not because we want to hide it, but because
That's a
we
bad
want
business strategy.
we want.
I'm just saying.
Well,
Let's tuck it in.
Well,
Nobody will never
here's
see
the
it.
beautiful part. If you're a camper, you go back there and you get to your site. There's only 28 sites on
Yeah.
15 and a half acres.
Yeah.
But it's full accommodations. You have full shower facilities, restrooms. The sites have full hookup for power, 3-phase power, which will allow a person with those monster rigs that have 2 air conditioning units and a better
Yeah.
fridge than I have at my own home.
And a bigger TV than you've got.
Yeah.
And it has sewer hookup for each site. It also has water hookup for each site. We even have an ATV wash station where a person can pull their ATV up on a pad and they got a power sprayer that can spray down because it is a dusty sport. But full accommodations. But the beauty is I can stand anywhere on that campground in the summertime, and you can't even see 63.
Feels
You
like you're
can't
10
see.
miles out in the country.
Yeah.
But yet I can walk right down to the ATV trail and walk less than about a quarter of a mile, and I'm at the public beach.
Wow.
It is.
It's a brilliant location.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, when is it going to officially open? Are you going to have a grand opening so the public can drive through, walk through?
Well, with an operation of this size, we've decided that this year will be a soft opening.
Sure.
And literally, you have to respect Mother Nature. Right now, we're in the final phases. We have Berghammer Builders out of Clayton that's doing our restroom. And, Mother Nature can stop them in a New York minute for a week because of
Oh.
rainfall or something
Yeah.
crazy like that.
Yeah.
But our hope is that we'll have it completed somewhere near the end of this month, end of June, and
Wow.
open it up in July for use. In fact, the local ATV and Snowmobile Association,
Oh, right.
we're working in conjunction with them and Klopp's Bar and Grill in Shell Lake to do a ATV poker run the first weekend of August, where it'll be a nice kickoff
Sure.
to get the ATV community familiar with the asset and what's available to them.
Poker run? What is that? You said poker run?
I've never done one, but I guess ATVers go from facility to facility, pick up cards, they win prizes. It's just a
Never
fun
heard of
event.
it.
Yeah. I forgot the question I was going to ask you. I was so intrigued with that.
Well, I wanted to quick ask: is this also? You said snowmobiles as well. I mean, it's just because the ATV and snowmobiles. Is there any accommodations, or is there any way this will somehow benefit snowmobilers in the wintertime, or is this nope? It's ATV. It's summer. That's it.
No,
Right.
This is an ATV campground,
Okay.
and it's important to point out why that's so important. When you look at this project, it's going to have a cost of somewhere in the neighborhood of $900,000.
Wow.
It's been declared by those that really have the ability to declare it as probably the best, if not one of the top 2 best ATV campgrounds in the state. And there was a lot of effort put in, but part of that 10-year process of working towards this was getting donations. We didn't want this coming out of the taxpayer pocket, if you will.
Sure.
And so through the years, when money became available through the Off-Road Vehicle Council and the Department of Natural Resources through ATV stewardship grants, we were able to receive approximately $727,000 in grant money.
Wow.
Towards this project. The remaining amount to finish it will be financed by the city of Shell Lake, but of course the revenue we generate from it will be our target for eliminating that debt, not going out to the taxpayer and asking them to pay taxes to take care
And
of
do
it.
you know already, or have an idea of what is something like this cost for someone? I'm sure you must have like days or a week pack or something.
Well,
but is this for $20 you can camp?
I'm afraid if I say how much it costs per night once we open, we won't have enough room. We're only charging $35 a night.
First of all, that was brilliant.
Yeah. Should be in
Boy, if
marketing.
I actually say how much, I don't know.
Yeah.
We're going to be full before we even open.
Okay.
Love it. That's
At
brilliant.
least for this year, it's 35 a night. I think
Okay.
when you look at the cost of camping nowadays, and the accommodations we're providing, that is
Yeah, holy cow.
extremely
Most
affordable.
places it's like $35 just for a place to put your tent.
Yeah. So where do people call? Who do people call? Where do they go to make reservations or
Well,
to get more information about the campground?
Again, because of construction and Mother Nature, we're not taking reservations at this point. However, if you call City Hall at this time, or our campground manager at our municipal campground
Okay.
at 715-468-7846, they'll at least put you on a list to give you a call back once
Sure.
we know when it's opening.
Now,
And I got a plug. You got to give me 1 second.
Sure.
The efforts are more than just getting grants. Perfect example was this winter season. It's the community and members of the community that volunteer time that most people don't even see.
mhm.
And this winter, we needed 50 picnic tables. And I
In the
think I
winter?
now have the best picnic tables in the United States of America. Ken Schultz led a team of 3, himself, Rob Anderson, and Phil Soltis, in building 50 picnic tables for
Okay.
the city of Shell Lake
It's-
by hand from scratch, and I
Okay.
didn't have to pay him a penny.
Whoa.
Why would they need 50 picnic tables in the winter?
Well, we built them in the winter so they're
Oh.
ready
Yeah.
for the summer.
Gotcha. And where did these go?
And I guess these gentlemen wanted something to do.
Yeah, well,
God love them.
it is a long winter. So if somebody wants more information, does Shell Lake have a website?
We do have a website, shelllake.org.
Oh, easy
Make sure
enough.
you put 3 L's in there.
I know, because you look at it and you think, wait a minute, how many L's are there? No, that's the right number.
Mhm.
Sure. And when you do get the actual information about reservations and stuff, we can throw that on Dreadnought.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Good. Well, Andy,
Absolutely.
I'm amazed we've made it. And I know you've got a lot more to talk about, but not today.
Okay.
Next week at this same location, we have got a guest from the Arts Center, because not only is Shell Lake bursting everywhere, the Arts Center is also. They have a huge building project going on, a $6 million project going on, which is going to completely revamp the facilities. So we're going to have a representative to tell us what's coming up, what the concerts are, where you go to hear amazing professional music. So until next week, keep it cooking.
Thank you.